All right, week 9. We've got this is our last full week, so we're really close to being done. What you have, let's see, on Wednesday we have a makeup exam, and that's just for if you have missed an exam earlier in the semester. There's not many people that have done that, so if you haven't, if you've taken every test so far, then that's fine. This doesn't apply to you. What you should do if you haven't is just use this week to, we'll go over the lectures that you need to watch, but just really focus on that because our final is coming up pretty soon, okay? All right, so comprehensive makeup exam, if you do have to take it, is Wednesday, May 1st. Comprehensive means that it covers the first 4 exams worth of information, so it's a lot. I should have sent you a message if you have missed one earlier, so hopefully you got that. But just use all of your old study guides to prepare for that, and you'll take that on Wednesday. 100 questions, you've got a while to do that, but like I said, most people that doesn't apply to you. If it does, send me a message, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be glad to further explain that. All right, for everybody else, the assignments we have this week, there's a couple lectures. There's one on plant structure and organization, part 1, and then there's a part 2 that just kind of finishes that up. What we were talking about in the last group of chapters was plant diversity and evolution, so like all the different types of plants and the categories that they fit into. This one is going to look more about like the parts of plants and the different tissues they have and what differences we see between the different types of plants when it comes to their structures. So still dealing with plants, but it's more like specific details about their body parts instead of just the groups that they belong to. Let's see, review quiz is due Friday, May 3rd, so just after you watch part 1 and part 2. It's the same information, I just kind of split it halfway down the middle. So after you watch both of those, make sure that you take the review quiz. And we have our last lab, finally. We're almost done with this. Last lab is due Sunday, May the 5th. This one is on angiosperms, so flowering plants. One thing that's might take a little bit of planning out beforehand is it wants you to have a sample of a monocot and a dicot. And if you read underneath this video where it describes Lab 6, I list some examples of what those could be. Some of the monocots can be a little bit tricky to find. So monocots are like lilies, orchids, irises. A lot of people might not have those around their house, but you do need to find one to be able to take pictures, and then you're going to label the different parts. All right. I'm not necessarily saying you should do this, but let me just share a story if this helps you out. I had a student last semester who had a really good idea. What they did was when they showed their pictures of the monocot that they had found, I noticed that they were in a grocery store at the floral section, and they had just like from the refrigerator where they keep all the flowers, taken it out, snapped a few pictures, and then they put it back. And if you read the lab, it's going to tell you that you might need to go buy one from the florist. That might be another option. If you go to a florist, like maybe let them know ahead of time what you're doing, but just see if you can take some pictures, and that might save you from purchasing a flower that you're not going to use again. We don't have to dissect the flower or anything, so all you have to do is just take a picture. All right, so like I said, just wait, or make sure that you don't wait too long to start that lab, because if it's Sunday night and all of the florists are closed, you might be out of luck on that one. Oh yeah, it's going to ask you to take pictures of roots. So like if your mom has like these prized roses that she likes, and feel free to use that. A rose would be an example of a dicot. But if your mom is going to kill you for digging up the rose, I totally understand that too. So I understand, take pictures for all of the other structures, but when it comes to the roots, if this is something at the florist where the roots have already been cut off, or if it's like a flower that's planted in your flower garden and you don't need to dig it up, you can just say wasn't able to photograph roots, and that will be okay for that one. For all of the other structures, though, you should have pictures. It's got a list of things that you need for that. Okay, end of semester survey. All right, everything after this, after Lab 6 that's on that list underneath this video, these are technically due next week, but the semester ends on Monday, the 6th. So that means all of these things underneath, you have to do those on Monday, because at that point the semester's over, and everything, like technically I'm going to be finishing your grades after the 6th. So I went ahead and posted them on this week's announcement, because that way you can go ahead and get them out of the way and you don't have to worry about it. So there's an end of semester survey. Some of you have done this already. If you go to the quizzes tab, it's just a survey to see what you thought about the class. I like to just get a little bit of feedback. There's a question about the pacing. This is one of the first semesters where we've done many semesters online. we've done the best that we can possibly do as far as spacing out the test. I know that they come really close, but like I said at the email at the beginning of the semester, we're covering an entire semester's worth of stuff in half the time. So it is kind of fast, but I'd just like to get a little bit of feedback from you on that. Also, discussion board number 5 is on carnivorous plants. So that one's going to be due on Monday also. Go ahead and get it out of the way and do all of the discussion board stuff. That way, next week on Monday the 6th, all you'll have to do is log on, take your test, and you will be done with the semester, right? Every time I have some people who, like, they take the test, they haven't done the discussion board, for example, and they see their average and they're like, okay, I've got a B or whatever. It's like really close, but I've got a B and I'm happy with that. And then they just quit. Remember, if you don't do the discussion board, I have to go back and add a 0 later, and that could actually drop your grade. So just if you haven't done all the assignments and you see your average, realize that if you don't do them, it's going to go down from that. So just play it safe, finish everything, and then on Monday you can go ahead and take the exam and you'll be done. That exam is just on the 2 lectures this week, so it's less material. That should be a good chance for you to finish with a good grade. So it's on plant, structure, and organization, parts 1 and 2. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be glad to help.